Hello, welcome to my channel. Before proceeding to study, please subscribe to my channel. Today, we will explore the fascinating world of engineering chemistry. We'll dive into key concepts like corrosion, types, mechanisms, and prevention. Slide 1. Spectroscopic techniques and application. Think of it like this: when light shines on an object, some of it gets absorbed, some gets reflected, and some passes through. The way a substance interacts with light can tell us a lot about what that substance is and how much of it is present. This is the fundamental idea behind spectroscopy. The principle behind all spectroscopic techniques is that atoms and molecules have specific energy levels. When they absorb or emit electromagnetic radiation, it's because their electrons or their vibrations and rotations are transitioning between these energy levels. The energy difference between these levels corresponds to specific wavelengths of radiation. By analyzing which wavelengths are absorbed or emitted, we can gain a fingerprint of the substance. The significance of spectroscopy in various fields is immense. 1. Identification of substances, qualitative analysis. Spectroscopy acts like a detective, helping us figure out what a substance is made of. Express. Imagine you have an unknown white powder. Using infrared (IR) spectroscopy, we can identify the types of chemical bonds present, like carbon-hydrogen or carbon-oxygen bonds, which helps us determine the functional groups and ultimately the identity of the compound. 2. Quantification of substances, quantitative analysis. It's not just about identifying. Spectroscopy can also tell us how much of a substance is present in a sample. Express. If we want to know the concentration of lead in a water sample, we can use atomic absorption spectroscopy (AS). The amount of light absorbed by the lead atoms is directly proportional to its concentration. 3. Structure determination. For molecules, spectroscopy can provide clues about how the atoms are connected and arranged in three-dimensional space. Techniques like nuclear magnetic resonance (NMR) are particularly powerful for this. 4. Study of chemical reactions. We can use spectroscopy to watch chemical reactions as they happen, observing the disappearance of reactants and the formation of products in real time. 5. Quality control. Industries like pharmaceuticals and food production rely heavily on spectroscopy to ensure the purity and quality of their products. They can quickly check if the ingredients are correct and in the right amounts. 6. Environmental monitoring. Spectroscopy plays a vital role in detecting and measuring pollutants in our air, water, and soil, helping us understand and address environmental issues. 7. Medical diagnostics. Techniques like magnetic resonance imaging (MRI), which is a form of NMR spectroscopy, are crucial for medical imaging. Also, analyzing blood or urine samples using spectroscopy can help diagnose diseases. Slide 2. Basic principle: interaction of light and matter. To understand how spectroscopy works, we need to talk about electromagnetic radiation (EMR) and energy levels. Electromagnetic radiation (EMR) is a form of energy that travels through space as waves. These waves have both electric and magnetic field components, hence the name. EMR encompasses a vast spectrum, from low-energy radio waves to high-energy gamma rays, and includes familiar forms like microwaves, infrared radiation, heat, visible light, the colors we see, ultraviolet, UV, radiation, responsible for sunburns, and X-rays. Think of it as a rainbow of energy, but much broader than what our eyes can see. Now, let's consider energy levels. Electrons in atoms don't just orbit the nucleus in any random path. They exist in specific, quantized energy levels, like steps on a staircase. They can only occupy these specific levels. Similarly, molecules can also have different energy states related to how their atoms vibrate and rotate. These energy levels are discrete, meaning they have specific, fixed values. The magic of spectroscopy happens when EMR interacts with matter. Two main things can occur. 1. Absorption. If a photon, a tiny packet of EMR energy, has exactly the right amount of energy to match the energy difference between two energy levels in an atom or molecule, that photon can be absorbed. When this happens, the atom or molecule jumps to a higher energy level, which we call an excited state. Imagine an electron on a lower step of the staircase absorbing just enough energy to jump to a higher step. Absorption is essentially the substance taking in energy from the light. 2. Emission. Conversely, if an atom or molecule is already in a higher energy level, excited state, it can spontaneously return to a lower energy level. When it does so, it releases the excess energy in the form of a photon of EMR with a specific wavelength corresponding to that energy difference. This is emission. Think of the electron jumping back down the staircase and releasing energy as it does. Emission is the substance giving off energy as light. Crucially, every substance has a unique set of these energy levels. This means that each substance will absorb or emit EMR at a unique set of wavelengths, creating a unique pattern, which we call its spectrum. This spectrum acts like a fingerprint, allowing us to identify the substance. Slide 3. Instrumentation, the spectrometer. To measure these interactions between EMR and matter and to obtain a spectrum, we use an instrument called a spectrometer, sometimes also called a spectrophotometer, especially for UV vis. While different types of spectroscopy have specialized instruments, the basic components are generally similar. 1. Source of radiation. This is like the light bulb in our experiment. It emits the electromagnetic radiation needed to interact with our sample. The type of source depends on the region of the electromagnetic spectrum we are interested in. Express. For visible light spectroscopy, a simple tungsten lamp can be used. For UV spectroscopy, a deuterium lamp is common. For IR, specialized sources that emit infrared radiation are used. 2. Sample holder. This is where we place the substance we want to analyze. The type of sample holder depends on the state of the sample, solid, liquid, gas, and the type of radiation being used. Express. For liquid samples in UV vis spectroscopy, we often use small transparent containers called cuvettes, typically made of glass or quartz. For solid samples in IR spectroscopy, the sample might be ground into a powder and mixed with a transparent material to form a pellet. 3. Wavelength selector, dispersing element. This component acts like a prism or a diffraction grating. It takes the broad beam of radiation from the source and separates it into its individual wavelengths, like how a prism splits white light into a rainbow. In some instruments, it selects only a narrow band of wavelengths to pass through the sample. A prism bends different wavelengths of light at different angles. A diffraction grating is a surface with many fine lines that also separates light by wavelength through interference. 4. Detector. After the radiation has interacted with the sample, either passed through it or been emitted by it, it reaches the detector. The detector's job is to measure the intensity, amount, of radiation at each wavelength. Express. Common detectors include photomultiplier tubes, which amplify weak light signals, and photodiode arrays, which can detect a range of wavelengths simultaneously. 5. Signal processor, computer. The signal from the detector is usually a weak electrical signal. The signal processor amplifies the signal and converts it into a digital form that a computer can understand. The computer then takes this data and generates the spectrum, which is typically a graph showing the intensity of the radiation as a function of wavelength or frequency. This spectrum is what we analyze to get information about the sample. Slide 4. Types of spectroscopy based on interaction. Spectroscopy is a broad field, and we can categorize different techniques based on the type of electromagnetic radiation they use and the kind of energy transitions they probe in atoms or molecules. 1. UV visible, UV-vis, spectroscopy. This technique uses ultraviolet, UV, and visible light. It primarily looks at the absorption of this light by molecules, which causes electrons to jump to higher energy orbitals, electronic transitions. Energy transition, electronic transitions, the movement of electrons between different energy levels within the atom or molecule. 2. Infrared, IR, spectroscopy. IR spectroscopy uses infrared radiation, which is associated with heat. When IR light interacts with molecules, it causes their bonds to vibrate in different ways, stretching, bending. The wavelengths of IR light absorbed correspond to these specific vibrations. Energy transition, vibrational transitions, changes in the way atoms within a molecule vibrate relative to each other. Different functional groups, like O, C equals O, have characteristic vibrational frequencies. 3. Atomic absorption spectroscopy, AS. AS is specifically used to determine the concentration of elements in a sample. It works by first breaking down the sample into individual atoms in a gas phase. Then, it shines a light source emitting specific wavelengths, characteristic of the element being analyzed, through this atomic vapor. The atoms will absorb light at their specific wavelengths, and the amount of absorption is proportional to the concentration of the element. Energy transition, electronic transitions in individual atoms, similar to UV-vis, but specifically for individual atoms in the gas phase. 4. Atomic emission spectroscopy, ACE. In ACE, the sample is also converted into individual atoms in a gas phase, but then these atoms are excited to a higher energy level using heat or electricity. When these excited atoms return to lower energy levels, they emit light at specific wavelengths that are characteristic of the element. By analyzing the wavelengths and the intensity of the emitted light, we can identify and quantify the elements present. Energy transition, electronic transitions in individual atoms, emission, the reverse of absorption, where excited atoms release energy as light. 5. Nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR, spectroscopy. This is a more advanced technique, but important to mention. NMR doesn't directly involve absorption or emission of light in the same way as the others. Instead, it studies the behavior of atomic nuclei, specifically those with an odd number of protons or neutrons, like hydrogen-1 and carbon-13, when placed in a strong magnetic field and exposed to radiofrequency radiation. The nuclei can absorb this radiation and flip their spin, providing detailed information about the structure and environment of atoms within a molecule. 6. Mass spectrometry. While often discussed alongside spectroscopy, it technically doesn't involve the interaction of EMR with matter in the traditional sense. Mass spectrometry separates ions, charged atoms or molecules, based on their mass-to-charge ratio. The sample is first ionized, and then these ions are passed through a magnetic or electric field, which deflects them based on their mass and charge. This allows us to determine the masses of the components in a sample and their relative abundances, providing information about molecular weight and structure. Slide 5. Applications of spectroscopy. The applications of spectroscopic techniques are incredibly diverse and impact many areas of science and technology. 1. Chemical analysis. Spectroscopy is the workhorse for identifying unknown substances and determining the amounts of different components in a mixture. Express. In a lab, UV-vis spectroscopy can be used to quickly and accurately measure the concentration of a colored dye in a solution. 2. Structure determination. Techniques like IR and NMR are essential tools for chemists to figure out the detailed three-dimensional arrangement of atoms in newly synthesized molecules or to identify unknown organic and inorganic compounds. 3. Process monitoring. In industrial settings, spectroscopic methods can be used to continuously monitor the progress of chemical reactions, ensuring optimal conditions and product quality in real time. 4. Materials science. Spectroscopy helps in characterizing the surface and bulk properties of new materials, determining their composition, and understanding their behavior. Express. X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy (XPS) can analyze the elemental composition and chemical states of the elements on the surface of a material. 5. Environmental science. Spectroscopy is crucial for detecting and quantifying pollutants in air samples, e.g., measuring ozone levels, water samples, e.g., detecting heavy metals, and soil samples, e.g., identifying pesticide. 6. Food and agriculture. Spectroscopic methods are used to analyze the nutritional content of food, detect adulteration, identify pesticide residues, and assess the quality of agricultural products. 7. Pharmaceuticals. Ensuring the purity and correct dosage of active ingredients in drugs is vital, and spectroscopy plays a key role in the quality control of pharmaceutical products. 8. Forensics. Analyzing trace evidence found at crime scenes, such as fibers, paint chips, or drugs, often involves spectroscopic techniques to identify the substances present. 9. Astronomy. By analyzing the light emitted from stars and galaxies, astronomers can determine their chemical composition, temperature, velocity, and even the presence of exoplanets. The different wavelengths of light tell us what elements are present in these distant objects.